Hey, how's it going, comic book fans? Sorry I took a day off there. I just got back and I took a day off from broadcasting. I had to get a lot of things done, like laundry. Like I got my quilt hanging. Well, it's already mostly dry, but I got it finishing right there on the door. And yeah, I wanted to talk about this piece that I'm working on, and because I'm finally starting to crack the code on shiny objects and surfaces like eyeballs and armor and all that, and it took some studying, and I really think it's important. And I'm going to show you the progress on my piece now here that I'm working on. If people want to check it out, see if I can turn this lamp on. I'm in a shadowed area here, so maybe if I have some light, but you can see my camera's not so good, but anyway, yeah. And then here's this monster right here, and this guy, and you can see the eyeball is shiny, and it's like that's a very hard thing to oops, I touched my screen. Yeah, this is all very hard here. Sometimes, what did I do? I don't know what I did, but somehow, I don't know, something weird went on. But anyway, yeah, that helps actually anyway. But yeah, there's if you can see I got shiny surfaces like that eyeball. And one thing that I've noticed that has helped is you want to be conscious about what is around that object, and meaning either the sky or you see his armor. I got some reflective kind of penciling in on there. You know what I mean? I got this girl down here. She's like falling backwards. I got to work on her neck and traps area a little bit, but for now it's fine. She's got a collar, so I brought it up close to her hairline. I might have to lower it a little bit. Something's going on there, but anyway, this is just my, I haven't worked on her much. I'm getting to her now. She's a pistolier. She's a pistolier basically, and so yeah. I'm just saying specifically, they're wearing armor and shiny. And what I've done there, you can see, is under the brow ridge. I know that that's a shadowed area. So what do you see there? I just kind of made a dark area where it's reflecting the underside of the brow ridge, and then there's probably terrain and stuff all out here, and I don't want to get too super detailed, so I just left this open like it's reflecting some sky. Then you just get in there and kind of in the direction of the sphere or whatever it is, flat. If it's flat straight lines, you just kind of do some hatching, and you know what I mean, and basically, make some. I usually will leave a circle or something for like an oval or something, a reflection right over the hatching. You know what I mean? It just adds some kind of variety of line work. And that's what I'm talking about. Like if there's a light, if you got a shiny, I gotta sit down here. If you got a shiny object, like a shoulder or like an arm piece or something, and then there's a shadow like I have here. You know what I mean? You know that any part from between the viewer, like a mirror, you're gonna see like some dark in the reflection right here. Dark spots. You got to just kind of make your decisions and throw them in there, and just make it evident that it looks like it's reflecting some of the shadow here. Or if there's a night, or like I said, if there's a sky, I'll leave. Like say you got a shoulder piece, you know, I'll leave, you can kind of leave, you can even break the line and leave it open so the colorist can put the color of the sky right in, it'll bleed it right into the, to the, to the, shoulder guard, this metallic shoulder guard. And then as you get down here, there, you would, out in front of the character, there would be a horizon with a ground, you know what I'm saying? And then you can start laying in some kind of evidence of a horizon, but you kind of got to follow somehow the shape, like this right here, this black mark, like the shape of the you know, of whatever the guard is. So you can, you want to reinforce the shape of that guard, of if it's a square shoulder guard or a big round one like Cyberfrog has, for instance. It's just the first thing that comes to mind. And or you know, and you know, you just want to add some evidence of it reflecting some shadowy things out here. And you know, generally you want to be aware of where the sky is relative to the reflective object, and kind of, you can just leave that open with a few little hatching marks here and there. Just feather things out. You got to feather things out, is what I'm learning. I remember an artist, when I brought my crappy artwork to New York, when I could find the time and the, you know, someone that would take me there or go with me when I was too young to do all that shit myself and travel all the way to New York regularly. An artist saw my stuff, and which was pretty good. He's like, it's pretty good, but he's like, you know, he's like, you're striping with your inks. It's just big black marks. He's like, he's like, you got to feather things out, feather things out if you can, you know what I mean? And don't, you know, and you know, I've basically, you know, inking is hard. But it's a skill and you can learn it. So, you know, I don't know if I'm going to stay this dark. I notice typically when I go in with my inks, they're so, you know, you don't really realize how black it's going to be. And so you know, I might leave a lot of this more open, not as much shadow or whatever, but I know typically I'm really Todd McFarlane it up, you know, with this monster. And it doesn't quite have a tongue. It has some weird inner, you know, tonguey, like, what do you call that? Like almost like some kind of flesh and tendony type fucking mechanism in there, you know, that helps it gobble things down. And it has like saliva and stuff on its tongue, and it's coming up out of the ground. And up here, I had to make a note because one night I decided a stormy sky. So like basically, I'm gonna come in here with like the Jim Lee style, you know, ink smearing. I'm gonna get a bottle of the inks, so maybe order some or go to the art store, buy some. However, I like to support mom and pop businesses. So, you know, as broke as I am, I try to pay higher prices. And you know, once again, punishment for trying to do the right thing on me. But I could really use some support, like to get some comics like this out there. This is just me messing around. I didn't like plan. I didn't like go, okay, I got this guy here. He's gonna look like that. I didn't do any character sketches. I didn't do anything. I just literally stream of consciousness out, and then as I went along, just added things that I like to add. You know, that I think are pretty cool. These big stinger. I was like, why would they be cutting the antennas and shooting them? Oh, well, maybe they're stingers. Maybe they stick in you and they're barbed or something. You know what I mean? And it just comes up out of the ground like those trap spiders, giant, just and spikes people and then goes back down into the ground with them. And you know, and they're like walking along, talking, and they're not paying attention, and all of a sudden the earth shakes and this thing comes out. You know, he's like up on top of jumping, and he's like up on top of this one, and you know, she's trying not, you know, to shoot these two guys. He's in the background, as you can see. He's behind the blast. He's behind, you know, he's behind the stinger. That just shows how big he is. You know what I'm saying? So he's like coming down on it. He's getting ready to punch it, basically. I don't know. I'm just messing around, you know. How's everybody doing? So I just wanted to talk about that. Shiny surfaces You know, and I'm gonna start actually getting like little Christmas tree ornaments and stuff like that, just to have around, so I can have a reference, you know. And I could like 3D model all my stuff, but there's a problem with that. Is you know, well, I never learned to use Blender, and maybe I could try to like get Blender. It's free. I could at least use it for making like making spherical balls and stuff like that, probably very easily. And I might even be able to take some of my files from 3D Studio Max and convert them over into Blender somehow, and then just learn how to operate the controls to pan around them and position them the way I want. You know, I mean, I could do all this if I had more of a budget too. It'd be a lot easier. I can't afford 3D Studio Max, but that's what I was taught with in college. They taught me to use programs I can't even afford. You know what I mean? It's incredible. Who's all in the chats? So what I have to do now is like her here. I'll fix her right now. I gotta leave more of her neck exposed. She's a girl, so I'm gonna give her a smaller neck, and I think I'm too. See, here, I'll do some of this live right now. That lat is outstretched. Her left lat is outstretched because both arms are forward. I'll just show you, and I'll just outline her guns a little more. Like, you know, I haven't really decided. I actually did think about it a little bit. Her pistols. I'm just gonna kind of rough that out. How, yeah, they're kind of like this. The grips are just big, kind of handles, like with almost like finger guards on them. Sticks her hands in there. You know, just use your imagination, kids. Okay, there. I just added some quick details just for the hell of it. Now I gotta change the screens so I can see what you're seeing. Okay, so I just added some. So I just added some more detail on her already. You can see them. You know, her arms, the pistols. You know, I made her neck smaller. What you got to look out for is there's a lot. I hate to say this, but there's a lot of trannies in Hollywood, and I don't care that there are, but they hide themselves, and you think they're women, and you're John, and you're like, why do all my women look like men? And you're using some of your favorite Hollywood trannies as a reference, so you can't figure out, like, you know. Well, you got to understand females and make sure that your references are real. They're on the covers. Oh, they're on the covers. Some of your favorite models are men. You think they're women. You know, I'm just saying, you better do your homework, kids. Better do your homework and make sure you're drawing. Make sure you're referencing women and not trannies hiding in public as men. Do you need me to show you some? We can look up tranny. I mean, we can get into the female anatomy, and I can look up trannies right now. Female to male trannies, and you wouldn't even know. You would. I mean, they got it down so good now with the hormones and surgery and, you know, personal training. You wouldn't even know you wouldn't even know these men were women. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to, I have to bring it up because I'm working on a female, and I'm trying to show you guys how to do better comics. So you have to be aware of, of the reality that you live in to do that, because you have to be able to draw. If you're a comic book artist, you have to be able to draw everything. All right, there. Tell me I didn't just improve her already, and I got some nice big weird, like she made them herself. They probably scavenge, junk and make weapons and armor because they're outcast from their society, and basically like they're exiled because it's kind of, and I'm not ripping off Game of Thrones. I'm just saying like the king's son takes over, and he's inheriting like godlike powers, and these guys worked for his dad, and the kid's a horrible tyrant, and they disagree with it, and anybody who disagrees is like exiled. So they're like in tribes around in the outskirts, and the reason the kid doesn't kill him and he exiles, you're like, well, why doesn't he kill him? If you don't worship this kid like a god, he like exiles you. Well, because you're like his toy, and he's got magicians, and he practices the dark arts himself, and like he scries on, he like summons monsters, and it's his television. He watches, and it's like entertainment. All the exiled people, and they're something like that, some crazy storyline like that. You know what I'm saying? Just got to use your imagination. I might want to put this shoulder up even higher. Because otherwise the left arm is too short. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah. There you go. I'm just showing you how, I'm adding detail. I'm adding detail right in front of you so you can get it down. You want to be a penciler? You want to just hint at things, you know what I mean? You don't necessarily, don't fucking kill your shit with detail until you know what detail to add, like somebody like Jim Lee, you know what I mean? Don't be, I have to keep my style cartoony because I don't have the time to do Bernie Wrights and shit, but I probably could do Bernie Wrights and stuff. So there's that. This guy, I want to get to working on his sword gun. But it's just, I need a straight edge, and I fucking hate working with, excuse me, kids, I hate working with straight edges. And I hate keeping track of my straight edge in my tiny little crammed up apartment. Let me see. But I know I left it over here because I was using it to measure things with it or something. What did I do with that thing? Oh, well, I guess I got to freehand it out for now. Anyway, I'll just keep it light. If you don't have a straight edge, just keep it light. Keep it really light until you know it's like what. So I want it to have like one side of it is like this, like it's like some like light blade, and then the other side is like a kind of like the Sand People. They had like that rifle thing, you know what I mean? So he doesn't have a laser gun. He's got a real actual rifle, and he like I don't know. He melts down heavy metals and like makes his own ammunition and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Something manly. you know, and he shoot. It's like this beat up looking rifle, lightsaber looking thing, but it's not. But it's not. It's not a lightsaber. I'm not ripping off Star Wars. You know what I mean? Just doing my own thing. So I'm getting it down here. It's got to have like a handle that looks almost like the you know, finger guard, but it's actually a handle with a trigger guard. How could I do it? You'd have to hold it from the top. So it'd have to be on the top side, like he holds it like this, and he can fire it somehow, or like he can swing it and then like tap the top button like a video joystick and fire it, you know, something crazy like that. Then you can like swing it around and like cut a bunch of stuff with it, you know what I mean? This dude's like badass. He's like this guy, I figure like he's like the one that's really, he has the biggest conscience out of them, and he's like always, you know, he's like more political, and they're just kind of like, oh, you know, this is just the way it is, and he's like, no, we need to do something. This is this guy right here with the sword gun. You can't just oh, I'm putting the forefinger on the wrong side of his hand. That's why that ain't working. Yeah, we can't just sit around like, you know, out here, you know, as monster bait for this guy. We got to figure something out. But it's hard to get anything done because he's watching him. Well, he doesn't have time to watch him all the time, but somehow they got to figure out a way around it, you know. This is how you make up storylines, boys and girls. If you can't do it, I'll do it. I'll make comic books for you. So that I'm just trying to show you what I'm thinking of here, and so I have to draw straight lines, and it's really pissing me off right now. Sorry. Then it's got like some mechanism here with like a thing sticking down, and then it's like, and then there's just like this, you know, plasma or something coming up the bottom of it like this. Wow. You know, something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like a big rifle barrel with a trigger and a handle and a magazine, you know, a magazine or something. And then this is like this like electrical mat. And then like, I don't know, the handle, like his glove is all, you know, protected from it or something. You know what I'm saying? Crazy, something crazy like that. So there, you know, just to show you what I'm working on here. This guy just doesn't care. He just bashes everything like, you know, it's got some kind of, you know, he's like, I was thinking he's not even fully human, you know what I'm saying? He's like mixed with some kind of animal that lives in there, you know, something like that. That lives in their little world. I haven't really thought. I just started drawing this, and it started like, once you know, your own drawings will start inspiring you, your imagination. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. I don't want to broadcast too long. These videos, you know, I try to keep them fairly short, and just, you know, if anybody has any questions, just ask me in the comments, and thanks for watching.